Gabay here with Gabay Real Estate Professionals. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to take a look at what factors to consider when purchasing a property in Jerusalem. The first factor is you are not purchasing a 5,000 square foot home in Teaneck. Okay, you're buying in the heart of the city. That's like Manhattan prices. A 3-bedroom apartment can run you at least $1 million depending on the central Jerusalem neighborhoods. You're kind of trading in, this is what one of our clients said, you're trading in space for experiences. So you need to look at it like that. The next, I think, factor that you really need to take into consideration is that the prices keep going up. From 2007 until 2014, there was an increase in 96% increase in prices throughout Israel. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. The banks are extremely conservative. They're giving 50% financing to foreign buyers, 70% to local buyers. There's a lot of personal equity in those properties, and it makes it a lot harder for people to just kind of walk away from their mortgages. So prices are high, the banks are very conservative. It looks like it's going to stay that way and keep going up. One of the tricks that we kind of play on our clients is that, people that have kind of come and seen properties for 3-4 years with us, we show them what we showed them 3-4 years ago. We show them the sheet with all the different properties, and then we compare that to what their dollar can buy them today. Okay, and that kind of forces them to make a decision right then and there instead of waiting. The next consideration is, what is the purpose of your purchase? We kind of chalk it up to 3 different purposes. Number 1, vacation apartment. Okay, number 2, investment property. And number 3, my personal favorite, actually making Aliyah and coming and living in Israel. The first focus will be the investment apartment. For a long-term investment, you're talking of an average of approximately 3% ROI. That is not amazing, especially in comparison with areas like Haifa and Beersheba, where there is a very high rental demand and the prices are much lower, so you can get a better return on investment there. What people do, and this is kind of plays into the whole vacation apartment thing, is what people kind of can do with their apartments. They can rent them out short term. There is a shortage in hotel space here, so they rent out their apartments on a short-term basis. And while that short-term rental industry is quite saturated, you can still get a very good return on your investment, and at the very least offset some of your costs. Now, when renting out an apartment short-term, you kind of have to take other things into consideration that you might not have thought about if you're purchasing it for your own purposes. Does it have a sukkah balcony? For some people that are just going to buy it, for their own purposes, they might not care about 7 days a year, but that's a high season here. What amenities the building has, and if it has very high amenities, are you paying for those amenities? That kind of eats away your profit. So there are ways of looking at that, and we can help you do that. Obviously, making Aliyah, if you're going to be in those central neighborhoods, you're going to pay a very high price and a very high premium to be in a place where it's more geared for tourists. As soon as you go out of those central neighborhoods, you go to areas like San Simon, Katamonim, Makor Chaim, you're actually more accessible to shopping for residents and less to kind of the tourist attraction of being in those central areas. And as soon as you're here, you're learning the buses, you know exactly how to get around, and it might even be worth looking into some of those neighborhoods outside of Jerusalem to get more value there. There are other general considerations. Number 1, pre-construction versus second-hand. Okay, and if you're purchasing on paper, if you're purchasing pre-construction, is that before the building permit, or does the contractor have the building permit? What kind of contractor are you dealing with? How is your money secure? These are all considerations that a professional attorney and a professional agent will be happy to advise you on. The registration and title of the property. Is this property a church lease, or is it a privately owned property? Those are very important considerations. I wrote a nice article about church leases that's on our website. Feel free to check that out. The look and the year of the building is obviously important, but not just from an aesthetics perspective. Unfortunately, we have to consider safe rooms. Okay, does the apartment itself have a safe room? If it does not, does the building have a safe room? And so on and so forth. The amenities versus cost. We had a terrific apartment in a wonderful tower in the city center, and it had a nice little swimming pool and a gym and a doorman. But guess what? You're paying for that luxury. You're paying about 15 to 1,700 shekel a month on a 2-bedroom apartment. So that's an important consideration, especially if you're only coming here part-time. And that also kind of affects the price. So that's one consideration. The interior condition, renovating an apartment yourself from thousands of miles away, what's the cost benefit of doing that? Illegal space in a property. Are we talking about just a standard enclosed balcony that the entire building did, like in many of the buildings here? Or are we talking about some hidden basement that was dug out by the owners that are selling you the property and asking a premium price for those square meterage as well? Obviously, interior and exterior space is very important. What is a privately registered garden versus what we call here a garden in use? All of these are important considerations, and we will be happy to advise you on making that purchase. Feel free to call us at any time. 052-614-1442. You can also email me at yaniv@gabayrealestate.com. Feel free to check out our website, www.gabayrealestate.com. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day.